Ding, your code compiles. On the first try, that dopamine rush hits harder than your fourth energy drink of the day. You just solved a bug that's haunted you for 6 hours, and for exactly 12 seconds, you feel like a god among mortals. Your parents still think you fix computers. Your friends ask why you can't just hack their ex's Instagram. But you know you're building the future. Welcome to software development, kid, where your dreams will be crushed by a missing semicolon at 11:58 p.m. on a Friday. You're 22, fresh out of college, with a computer science degree and a dream. You've watched Silicon Valley. You've seen The Social Network 14 times. You know the stories, hoodie-wearing geniuses, coding in coffee shops, becoming millionaires before 25, changing the world with elegant code. So you crack your knuckles and open your IDE, ready to innovate. Your first day at the job. They hand you a laptop that's somehow worse than the one you had in college. The codebase you're inheriting? Written by someone who quit 3 years ago and apparently hated everyone who would come after them. There are variables named x1, temp2, and, I kid you not, this works, don't touch it. There are no comments. None. It's 47,000 lines of pure archaeological mystery. But you're optimistic. You've got energy. You're going to refactor this thing, make it beautiful, implement those design patterns you learned in school. Then your manager says the magic words, "We need this feature by EOD. End of day, it's 9 a.m. The feature requires touching 15 different files. You don't understand what half of them do, but you're a problem solver. You'll figure it out. 8 hours later, you've created bugs in places you didn't even know existed. The payment system randomly charges people twice. The logout button now deletes user accounts. Somehow, you've broken the printer on the third floor. You didn't even touch any printer code. There is no printer code. Welcome to your new life. You're not building the future anymore. You're duct taping the present while it catches fire around you. Meetings. So many meetings. Stand-ups that last 45 minutes where nobody's standing. Quick syncs that could have been emails. Brainstorming sessions where everyone's brain is already stormed out from the previous 4 brainstorming sessions. You're spending 6 hours a day in meetings about the work you don't have time to do because you're in meetings. And then there's the sprint planning. Oh, the sprint planning. Your manager asks, "How long will this take?" You, having learned nothing from previous mistakes, say, "Probably 3 days." Your manager hears, 3 hours. The project manager puts it down as done yesterday. The client expects it to also make coffee and solve world hunger. You spend a week on it. It's still not done. Everyone's disappointed. You're labeled as slow. Never mind that the simple feature required rewriting the authentication system, updating the database schema, coordinating with 3 different APIs that have contradictory documentation, and sacrificing a rubber duck to the coding gods. But here's the thing about software development. It's never your code that breaks. It's always some dependency, some library, some framework that updated overnight and decided that everything you've built is now deprecated. You wake up one morning and your entire project won't compile because NPM had an existential crisis. Just update the packages, they say. You update one package, 17 others break. You fix those. Your tests fail. You fix the tests. Now production is down. The CEO is personally emailing you at 2 a.m., asking why the website is just showing a picture of Nicolas Cage. You never put a picture of Nicolas Cage anywhere. You don't know where it came from. Nicolas Cage has become sentient and invaded your codebase. You're copy-pasting code from Stack Overflow. Everyone is. That's not a secret. That's the industry. 50% of GitHub is just Stack Overflow answers formatted differently. You find a solution, you copy it, you change the variable names so it doesn't look exactly like plagiarism, and you pray it works. It works. You don't know why it works. The guy who posted it on Stack Overflow in 2014 doesn't know why it works. It just does. You mark the ticket as complete and move on before the universe realizes you've cheated reality. But then comes the bug. Every developer knows the bug. The bug that only happens in production. The bug that you can't reproduce locally. The bug that happens to exactly one user. On one device, during a full moon, when Mercury is in retrograde. You spend 3 weeks trying to fix it, you add logging. The bug stops happening, you remove logging. It comes back. The bug is alive, it's Sentient. It knows. You finally fix it by changing a single character. One, you change double equals sign to triple equals to. That's it. 3 weeks of your life for one extra equals sign. You close the ticket. You don't tell anyone it took 3 weeks. You mark it as complex algorithmic optimization. Your manager gives you a high five. You die a little inside. Your company decides to pivot. They're no longer a software company. They're an AI-driven blockchain metaverse solution leveraging synergistic cloud paradigms. You're pretty sure that sentence is meaningless. Your CEO read it in a LinkedIn post and made it your mission statement. You're told to implement AI into your product. You don't have AI. Nobody on your team knows AI. Your tech stack is held together with JavaScript and prayer, but the CEO saw ChatGPT once and now wants your app to do that. Just make it smart, he says. How hard can it be? You spend 2 months bolting a language model onto your application. It costs $47,000 in API calls during testing. When it launches, users ask it to help them check out, and it writes them poetry about capitalism instead. One customer gets a haiku about their shopping cart. Another gets a philosophical dissertation on consumerism. Your CEO calls it disruptive innovation. Your users call it broken. You call it a Tuesday. And the deadlines, oh God, the deadlines. We need this yesterday isn't a figure of speech. It's your actual project timeline. Your manager promises clients features that don't exist, then asks if you can just quickly build it over the weekend. Your weekend, the one you were going to spend remembering what sunlight feels like. You work 70-hour weeks, your salary, so there's no overtime pay, just exposure and experience and the vague promise that equity means something. Spoiler, it doesn't. Your stock options are worth less than the pizza you're given during mandatory, fun social events that happen at 6 p.m. when you were supposed to go home. You're surrounded by geniuses. At least you think they're geniuses. Brad from DevOps speaks exclusively in Kubernetes metaphors you don't understand. Sarah from Backend casually mentions she optimized the algorithm and reduced runtime by 90%. You barely understand what your own code does. You're in a meeting. Someone asks you a technical question. Your brain blue screens. You say something about refactoring the microservices architecture to improve latency. You're not sure what that means. Neither is anyone else. Everyone nods. You've successfully bullshitted your way through another stand-up. Late at night, you Google, "Am I a real programmer?" The answer is 30 Stack Overflow threads of other developers asking the same thing. You're all faking it. The entire industry is just people Googling things and hoping nobody notices. You look at job postings for fun. Entry-level position. Must have 10 years of experience in a framework that's 3 years old. Must be proficient in 47 programming languages. Must have shipped at least 5 enterprise applications solo. Must be willing to work for exposure in granola bars. You close the laptop. You're trapped. Not by golden handcuffs. By regular handcuffs made of student loans and the fact that this is literally the only skill you have. Then comes the incident. The production deploy on Friday at 4:45 p.m. Everyone knows you don't deploy on Friday. Everyone. But the client needs it, so you deploy. Everything breaks. Not just your feature, everything. The database crashes, user sessions expire, emails start sending backwards in time somehow. You're getting error logs from 2019. Your Slack is exploding. The CEO is typing. Those 3 dots haunt you. You're rolling back. But the rollback fails. You're rolling back the rollback. That fails too. You're now in infrastructure purgatory, SSHing into servers, running commands you found on a blog from 2009, praying to every deity across all religions. It's 11 p.m. You haven't eaten. You've had 6 energy drinks. Your heart is palpitating. You can smell colors. You finally fix it by restarting the server. That's it. Turn it off and on again. The oldest trick in the book. 8 hours of panic for the solution your grandma would have suggested. You crawl into bed at 2 a.m. Your phone buzzes. It's your manager. Great work today. Ready for Monday's sprint planning? And you can't quit. Because despite everything, the bugs, the meetings, the 3 a.m. pages, the Stack Overflow dependency, the imposter syndrome, the soul-crushing realization that you're building features nobody wants for products nobody needs, you're actually making decent money. Not great money, not buy a house in this economy money, but enough to justify the suffering, enough to keep you showing up. enough to keep you trapped in this cycle of code, debug, deploy, break, fix, repeat. Your friends think you're rich because you work in tech. Your parents think you're a hacker because you use the terminal. Your partner hasn't seen you make eye contact in 6 months because you're always staring at a screen. And you're 32 years old, but you look 50. Your back is destroyed from sitting. Your eyes are ruined from blue light. Your social skills have atrophied to the point where you start conversations with, "So, funny merge conflict story." But hey, at least you're not just fixing computers. You're building the future, one missing semicolon at a time.